What's going on, everybody? It's Tyler from Dirt Road Country. I've got one of the best up and coming country traditionalists in the genre right now with me. Will Jones joins me. Will, thanks so much for joining. How you doing?
Yeah, Tyler, glad to be here, man. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I sure am, and I'm doing even better now that you got new music out. Your newest single, Lonesome Dove, is out right now. Can you talk
Yeah.
about that one?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Lonesome Dove is just one of those traditional ballad country music songs that I've always wanted to release and write. And it's a song I wrote with Dan Wilson, Lee Starr, and my buddy Davis Corley. And Lee had this, he come in and we were all fans of the Western series Lonesome Dove. And he's like, man, we got to write a country song. And we got to write it from the perspective of what Gus McCrae might say to Lori Darling, in a bar, in a saloon. And so that's what we did. And we set out to just write it in that good old fashioned, traditional country, Dean Dillon, like power ballad. And I love it, man. It's one of my favorite songs I've been a part of.
Dude, it's a fantastic piece of work. It is just, you listen to it and it's pure country music. What else can you say?
Yeah, man. It's just country music, dude. It's no frills. It's no, it's nothing that it doesn't need. It is what it is. And I love that. I love that.
You got another one out right now called Come On In. Want to talk about that one too?
Yeah. So we had released Lonesome Dove. We come following up from that country ballad, I was like, okay, we need something that's like rocking. We need a edgy honky tonk song, and I had written that song "Come On In" with Wyatt McCubbin and Eric Dillon, and of course I'm huge fans of those guys and buddies with them too. But I was like, we set out to write like a Ricky Skaggs type, bouncy country song, and then it kind of morphed into this like Dwight Yoakam, Big Al Anderson, rockin', edgy,
Yeah.
uh, up tempo country song, and it's just super fun. The topic's light. We had a ton of fun with the content. If anybody wants to go check it out, go look up the music video. I think Vivo released that, where you can actually see my wife uh, making an appearance there in the music video, which is really funny because it's all about a woman that's like hunting a guy down.
Hmm.
And basically it's the opposite of what you would think like as a late night booty call or something. And she's like hunting him down, knows where he is. And it's just really fun, man. And so we shot the content for it and the music video and everything. And I was like, man, we got to have Kristen get involved in this because my wife is hilarious,
Hmm.
and she's also currently expecting our second child. And
Congratulations.
so, thank you. And so she was like very pregnant in the video. And so I was like, all right, we got to shoot this video in like a Quentin Tarantino style, up close, and then hide the fact that she's pregnant until the end, and we'll make it look like I knocked her up, even though it's
That's awesome.
obviously, yeah, it's hilarious. So come on in, super super fun song. Been getting a ton of good feedback from it, and so yeah, man, just all kinds of new music releasing, and a lot more
Yeah.
to come. So
Yeah, you've been pumping out the music this year. You've also got a new one coming just in time for Boots in the Park. You're going to be playing in California soon. It's called Ride
yep.
With Me. How excited are you to put this song out, and how excited are you to play Boots in the Park? Because that's always a good time.
Man, 10 out of 10 on both of those. I'm, kind of as we released this music, we'd released a song called My Country Showing while we were on the Gavin Adcock tour a few months ago. And then we followed that up with Lonesome Dove and then Come On In. And what I'm doing really, because this year I did a new deal back in January, a joint venture with Blue Harbor Music and Lady Luck, and we're partnered up with William Morris. And I've kind of got my full team assembled that I'm super excited about. My manager's great, everybody's great. And we're going into this year just on giving people as much music as we can possibly release and content with it, obviously. And so what I'm doing is kind of laying this foundation of who I am that tells my story. And all of these songs are fun. They all tell my story. A lot of them have fun, honest lyrics to them. And that's what my next single is, Ride With Me. It just kind of gets into um, I love my family and I love my wife, and a lot of times we're gone all the time,
Mhm.
on the road playing shows. Like when we're out in California playing Boots in the Park. And it's not always, I know it's not always easy being the person that's standing side stage, each night. And then you come off stage and it's just you go from crazy loud screaming crowd to like dead silence, and you decompress, and then you get up the next day and you go do another show, and that's just the lifestyle. So it's a song I wrote with Mark Nessler and Tony Martin, who are two of my songwriting heroes, and I love them both dearly. And they've written, some really big hits.
Yeah.
Just to See You Smile was one of those, and Would You Go With Me? Josh Turner, a bunch of really big songs. And so when we wrote that song, I was like, man, that's the perfect song to release next. And so I'm super excited about that song coming out here in a couple weeks, and I think everybody's going to enjoy it.
I think so too. And speaking of your upbringing, you're from Virginia. You grew
Yeah,
up with a big bluegrass background. What was it like growing up in Virginia? I mean, you weren't too far from Nashville. Like it's kind of like you
yeah,
said, the North Carolina, East Tennessee spot.
yeah. Not far at all. Southwestern part of the state of Virginia, in a little community called Cana, right on the state line of North Carolina. It was awesome, man. Culturally, I look back on my childhood, and it was like, for me, it was a literal dream of a childhood, man. I grew up like Huck Finn running through the woods, and we grew up on a big piece of land. And I spent every day outside running around, just being a little country kid, And my grandpa had a produce business there right on the main road. So it was Saturdays in the summertime. It was literally spent hanging out on the front porch with my grandpa and all them. He had an old
That's
Pepsi
the life.
machine there, and people were honking the horns coming by or stopping in to loaf for a little while. And it was literally a dream childhood. And I grew up playing bluegrass. I got into bluegrass music when I was like 6 or 7, playing guitar. My dad played, and he taught me how to play. And he had a regional band, and just started traveling around with them. And then my sisters got into. We had a family band. We cut records together and played. So it was about as good of a childhood playing bluegrass music as you can imagine. And in that area, it's a very culturally rich bluegrass area. So there was a bluegrass jam, every other night of the week somewhere that you could go get into. And it would just be a bunch of people hanging out in a circle playing bluegrass music. And so that's kind of what, taught me everything I know and how to play and sing and all that, between my dad and having that around me.
I mean, it
So it's
sounds like a
awesome.
damn good time, honestly.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
I would give anything. I would give anything to take that and just stamp it right here. If I could have that, man, everybody would probably live to be 130 years old.
I agree.
It's really, really healthy and awesome. So it was amazing, man, and it segued really perfectly into my country career. As we've seen so many bluegrassers transitioning into country music, from Keith Whitley
That's
to
right.
Vince Gill to Marty Stewart. I mean, the list is endless. And so bluegrassers know how to make their way over into the country world, and even Dwight Yoakam. I mean, a lot of these people, grew up with mountain music as their foundation.
For
So
sure.
I'm proud of them.
It sure helps to be able to play those instruments growing up because they
Yeah,
really do come in handy in country music.
it does. And even to this day, you're looking around all the time. We're putting bands together and touring bands with us, and we're always like, man, like what bluegrassers can I grab, to put in my band, because they're such great musicians and they can play everything.
They're
And
fun
such great
too.
harmony singers too.
Yes,
So
they're fun to watch play too. Very
yeah,
entertaining.
yeah, because I think when you grow up playing bluegrass, for us, we never plugged our instruments in.
Hmm.
You walk on stage with a guitar or banjo or mandolin or fiddle, and you literally stand in front of a 57, a Shure 57 microphone, and it's all the strength you have in your right hand is really the dynamics, and there's nothing to hide behind. It's literally just how good you can sing, how good your harmony is, how good is your timing and musicianship, because it's all just raw. And so if you do that and you're playing these old Martin guitars with action, that high off the neck, and it just develops you physically, as a musician. It's the best training ground I can think of.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like in my mind, out of any kind of music out there, if you can play bluegrass and you can play bluegrass well, you can play anything.
That's about right. And even me, I mean, as a musician, but let alone all my friends and bluegrass and stuff. That's why we always, we're all music nerds, but we always end up like deviating off into these little channels of exploration musically and creatively. And we'll play, gypsy jazz music, and you'll go back to David Grisman Quintet, and you'll see dog music, and you see all these different like trail offs, because once, like you said, I mean, you can kind of play anything, and you want to learn as much as possible. It's very intricate, it's very complicated, but yeah, man, it's a great training ground for grabbing Telecasters and playing country music.
Yes, and being on the road has got to be fun. What's your favorite part of touring, and what is there to expect the rest of the year with touring and new music and stuff like that?
Sure. First off, we've had a killer year so far, so I feel like I've already, my cup is full this year, just from the Josh Turner tour to the Gavin Adcock tour, Ashley McBride, just all kinds of fun stuff this year. But my favorite part of being on the road, see, I think people are either cut out for it or they're not. And when you really love doing what we do and being on the road, I hate being away from my family. That's the hard part, but I love being on the road. I love it because man, it's just the travel, the camaraderie, the group of guys you got with you. Like you're laughing, you're hanging out, it's awesome. The stories, that's why musicians get together and all we do is talk about road stories. It's because all the stories and all the crazy things that happen come out on the road. And it might be, crossing through a freaking winter storm in
Mhm.
Minnesota in the middle of January or something crazy, that we've all got those war stories from the road. And there's always going to be crazy things happen you don't predict, or there's going to be like fans that do something hilarious. Or, I mean, it's all of it's great. The backstage hang, if you're on the festival lineup with other people, you're hanging out with other bands that you love and friends. Or if you're on tours, like the Gavin tour or anything like that, all the band, both bands, you're just all hanging out all day. And it's just really cool, man. All of that is what I love.
I love that. Now, what is there to expect the rest of the year? And now, as we shift into a brand new year coming up soon.
I know it'll be here quick too. So yeah, so we've got some really fun shows on the books coming up for the fall. Obviously, releasing new music every few weeks with this next single "Ride with Me" coming out October the 10th. We're heading out to California to play Boots in the Park with Miranda Lambert, Wilder Blue, and a bunch of really talented people on that lineup. Um, and then after that, I honestly can't even remember, but I know we have some really cool stuff coming up. I have to check the calendar. So just live shows and as much new music as I can keep giving everybody because right now my main focus is getting everybody this music that we've got. Because when we come off the road, we go straight into writing rooms, and I'm writing, 3 or 4 days a week, um, every week. And so I've just got so many songs that I'm so excited about. We're going back in the studio here, I think, coming up in like around Thanksgiving, cutting even more music. So we've got music ready for everybody to release the rest of the year on into the holidays and the first of the year, and really fun content to go along with it. And if nobody's ever seen any of the stuff, we do a whole series of Ride With Me series on YouTube. And we literally, it's all just personality stuff. And we take you along with us to show you what like day to day looks like if you're in our shoes out on the road. And it's really funny and a lot of fun. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, go to the socials, keep up with us because we've got a ton of new stuff and fun stuff coming for everybody.
Well, everybody, you heard Will. Go follow that. Go follow Will on Instagram and TikTok, all the social media platforms. Go subscribe to the YouTube because YouTube is really underrated. There's some great
I
content, and it
know.
seems like what you're putting out is really funny.
Yeah,
So,
and I feel like I watch YouTube more than I do anything else. If it's because I've got my old '96 F-150, I've been fixing up my project truck, which I'm going to get to work on today since I got the day we're heading to Kentucky tomorrow for a show. But I'm on YouTube all the time. That's like all I
mhm.
watch anymore. I just I love the interactive like personality content, and that's what we're delivering a ton of that. So it kind of lets everybody get to know me a little bit more. When it's not just like serious Will or cutting up Will on stage behind a guitar. It's like I want everybody to get to know who I am, that's a great way to do it.
It sure is. Folks, Ride With Me is out in a couple weeks. Will is at Boots in the Park in California. If you're out there, go watch and play. It is a certified good time and
Yeah,
great country music to be heard. Will, thank you
yeah.
so much for joining me.
I appreciate you, Tyler, as always, buddy.
See you guys next time. Thank you.